Good morning. Plan for today is a 12-hour sail back to Falmouth, and don't think I'm gonna have the best winds if you take the forecast into account. I'm not even going to bother playing the how wrong did the Met Office get the forecast game, because yesterday they were 100% out on everything apart from mostly fair, mostly good visibility. Everything else completely wrong. Let's see what happens today. It's quite a nice start. I'm in the full foul weather gear, as you can probably see. Fingers crossed it gets warmer. I do love these early morning starts. It's 6 AM. No sign of any sun yet, but plenty of light. Nice to hear the birds singing, and the winds are nice and light. They won't be all day. Pootling along at 3 knots. Heading round the headland and see what the wind's like on the other side. Oh, and last night, bloody rolly. Once the wind dropped, whew, didn't get the best night's sleep, I have to say. Can't be helped. That's what you get for anchoring in bays along the south coast. If the wind's not right. And before you have a go at me, the wind was supposed to be right all week. So the tide is currently at its peak against us. So I'm heading out towards the Eddiston Lighthouse. Later on this morning, about 10:30, the tide turns. At which point I can tack, because then I'll obviously the tide will be going with me. It will be pushing me at a better angle when I tack. So I'm not sure whether I'll get as far as the Eddiston Lighthouse or not. Quite possibly. Doing quite well at the moment. 3.5, 4 knots, 4.5 occasionally. Wind's reasonably consistent. Coming from northwest. That won't last. And just know it's going to swing round to the south. As it has done near enough every day so far. Something tells me I'm not going to win this race. Now getting force 4, occasionally force 5, and the sea state's fine at the moment. Waves are only about 0.5 metre to 1 metre, but the tide is just turning now, which means it will be wind against tide soon, so I expect the sea state to become moderate. At least we're making good speed, not in the right direction because the wind still hasn't backed. It's still due west. Not a lot I can do about that. If it stays due west, I might have to anchor somewhere tonight, somewhere near Gribbin Head, maybe up the Foy, I don't know, and carry on tomorrow in the rain. Well, the rain's come. The wind has gone due northwest and dropped. So now we're almost heading north. It never rains, but it blows the wrong direction. Oh, I do hope that spring is going to get better than this. Oh god, the wind shifted even further. the weather forecast from the Met Office said it was going to go southwest. It's turning north. At least with the wind dropping, the waves have dropped off as well. Makes life a little more comfortable. Oh god, it's shifted even more north. Well, this is going great. I guess I can put a tack in then. Oh dear, I don't know. There's Gribbin Head again. Not been the most pleasant of sails today. Wind waves against tide with 20-25 knots of wind were nice. It's just tiring, especially when you have an early start. So I'll be very glad to be anchored down, have something to eat. At least I've seen some dolphins today. Oh, that's always nice. And we're anchored. Anchored at last. Anchor took straight away. Seems to be holding really well. Was a bit concerned it might be rocky, but obviously not. It's time for a whiskey. Okay, we're away. Motor sailing at the moment because we've only got 3 knots of wind. But yesterday's forecast from the Met Office, the Inshore Waters forecast, was somewhat inaccurate again. The wind was from due west all day, 20 to 25 knots, gusts above that, and yeah, I'd actually thought they were going to get it right, because for the first time they'd said southwest for a time, and it's been southwest for a time most days this week, but no, completely wrong again. It was due west every minute of the day, apart from one small blip where a storm cell went through and the wind swung around and dropped, but that was purely a localised effect from that storm cell. So there we go. Today the Met Office are saying that well, they've copped out. They're saying cyclonic, 4 to 5, possibly 6. Strong winds expected. Okay, so I compared that with what's in Predict Wind, and I've looked at all of the models available in Predict Wind, and all but one of them say easterly all day, 20 knots-ish is about the highest. I think there's 1 or 2 that go up to 25 in the gusts. So let's see who's right. Inshore Waters forecast, cop out, cyclonic. Basically saying the wind could come from any direction whatsoever today, and yeah, strong winds. We'll see. So we go 5 or 6 hours to Falmouth from here, so it's not a huge sail, given that it's barely 6 AM. I will be there in the middle of the day sometime. It's a wet day today. Rain is forecast, light rain for pretty much all of the day. So full wet weather gear. Let's see how wet I get. I don't know if this will actually work. There was a shower yesterday. It seemed to be totally dry on the inside, so fingers crossed. Anyway, I should keep a lookout really. So we're away from the anchorage, away from the shelter of the cliffs, and we're getting a decent wind now. 13, 14 knots from the southeast. Approaching the headland now, so we'll see what happens once I get out into proper open water. However, that will be about perfect. That puts me on a training run all the way back to Falmouth. Just going through the overfalls known as the Bellows. It's a fantastic name. Oh, that was close. Oh, I missed that. Should have been paying more attention. Jeez. Nope, don't see any more. It's raining a bit, but not too bad. Just spitting. And the overfalls aren't so bad today. I do enjoy going through overfalls. They can be an awful lot more fun than this though. I'll never forget the ones off the Mull of Galway. Going through there in force 7. Wind against tide. Wow, those waves were big. I was surfing down waves, must have been 4 meters, 5 meters at least. I could have gone all the way around, but there was a severe gale warning and an imminent severe gale warning. And to go around the overfalls would have taken around 4 hours. So better to go through them in force 7. And we should get there in a force 9 or a force 10. Well, I've got to say, this is really pleasant. Got 10 to 15 knots from the southeast, and yeah, it's nice downwind sailing, really. Wind's just after the beam. The rain seems to have managed to hold off so far, and really enjoying myself. Well, it changed to yesterday. And Falmouth is in sight. About 3 hours to go, I reckon. Just approaching Falmouth. The wind has dropped because the rain has arrived. It's just made the wind decide to kind of give up a little bit. But we're very nearly there. I've booked into Falmouth Haven for a couple of nights. Probably wondering why I things were worried. Because insurance won't let me leave the boat overnight on anchor unless I'm on board. So I'm going to be hopping off the boat for a couple of nights away. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go in, I'm going to anchor. And once I'm anchored, I'm going to sort out all of my lines and fenders and everything else. Then lift the anchor and head into the marina. That's the plan. Drop everything sorted to it. I think what I should probably do next is play that special weather game. The Met Office Inshore Waters Forecast said for today,
Cyclonic 3 to 5. Occasionally 6 in south, becoming variable 3 or less later. Well, we can't comment on the later because I'm not sailing later. So, well, let's have a look at what Predict Wind said. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 of the models said easterly, 2 said southeasterly, and 1 said west, southwest. Okay, that's considerably more accurate than the get out of jail card cyclonic. And wind speed. So Predict Wind said it would be between, well, let's see, 8 and 20, with gusts up to potentially 23, 25. Okay, so it's saying basically force 3 to force 5 in the gusts. Both of them have got the wind speed right, apart from the Metoffice forecast has got strong wind forecast, 3 to 5, occasionally 6. Now that's the mean wind speed. So it's saying it was going to be considerably windier than it actually was. And they couldn't be bothered to say which direction it was going to come from. Whereas Predict Wind have got it almost exactly right. And east stroke southeast, and it's been southeast all the time I was sailing, and the wind strength ranged between 8 and 23 knots. So I would say that's 1-0 to Predict Wind. There you go. 1-0 to Predict Wind.